Hello, good evening, and welcome to That's the Spirit, episode 8 with myself, Julian Jenkins. Thank you all for joining us already. We have the room is filling up as we speak, and just a quick couple of hellos from Simon Tipples. Simon, it was nice to meet you on Sunday, and of course, my friend over in Ireland, David West. How are you doing, David? And I'm glad you had a great week not so long ago at Arthur Finley. Welcome to That's the Spirit. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful show this evening. We have a very special angelic guest tonight, and we have a very special show which is looking at angelic healing therapy with Georgie Deyn. That's going to be coming on a little bit later on at 9:05. So the welcome, as always, we're going to have Georgie on at 9:05. That's going to last for about 30 minutes. So please make sure that you have your questions ready for a little bit later on for Georgie at 9:35. You may be glad to know this evening that I'm going to be taking a back seat at 9:45, and that allows for Georgie to do her angelic meditation. And I'm going to do it because it sounds amazing. At 9:55, we're going to look at doing a one-card reading for this week. Thank you for joining us. It's been a very interesting week for myself. It started on Sunday with a demonstration and talk at a mind, body and spirit show that took place here in Cardiff, which was absolutely amazing. And there's lots of spiritual things that we can talk about a little bit later on. We have a few more people arriving as we speak. Dean Jenkins. Dean, how are you doing, my friend? Chris Palmer, as always. Hi, how are you? And Kerry, how are you doing? And lots of people already coming into the room, I think for a number of reasons. One, obviously, to see my wonderful face and aura, only joking, but probably more importantly, to see our special guest this evening, which I'll introduce in a few moments' time. As always, if you can share it and like this program as much as we can. We're trying to build our audience week on week, and every week we get more and more people viewing our shows. And of course, we then take this off and put it onto YouTube. And also, if you've been listening to some of the podcasts, just to give you a flavor, I take the audio out from these live Facebook shows, and I try and put a little bit more production value into it. And then I take the interview out, and the podcast lasts about 30 minutes. So it's all of the sexy bits, all of the interesting takeaways that we've had within the conversation in Facebook Live, and we produce it out into our That's the Spirit podcast, which is available in iTunes and in all good record shops. I don't know why I said that for. That's just a joke. But yes, it is available on Spotify and it's available on iTunes. So we've got a lot of guests, a lot of people coming in. Alison, how are you doing? And Doreen, hello, how are you? I hope you're well. I want to introduce tonight's guest because it's getting to that point and you want to listen less to me and listen more to somebody who is absolutely wonderful. I bumped into Georgie online a couple of weeks ago, and I was desperate to get her on the show after looking at some of the work that she'd done in terms of the Angelic Harmony Therapy, but also in case of some of the music that she was producing, which just sounds as you'd expect. Absolutely angelic. And I asked her to come on, and she was very busy, and she was doing a tour all around the world. She goes all around the world, but she's an amazing person, and I would like to if you like, introduce Georgie this evening. She's the voice of Seraphisa, the founder of Angelic Harmony Therapy. Georgie is a singer, a healer, a teacher, and a channel of love in its purest forms. She works with the light, sound, and vibrations of heavenly realms, including the powers, archangels, seraphim, and that of the divine. I'd like to say a special That's the Spirit welcome to tonight's guest, Georgie Deyn. Georgie, how are you?
Oh, I'm really pleased to be here, Julian. It's really lovely. Thank you for asking me on the show.
It's an absolute pleasure, and you are a beautiful light and a beautiful energy, and some of the music that you create and the things that you're doing have truly lit in my world since I came across you a couple of weeks ago. And thank you for doing that, because we need more and more people like you in the world. But Georgie, for those people who don't know who you are or what you're doing at the moment, can you just go into a little bit of a detail about, what is Angelic Harmony Therapy and how you came across your first experiences with angels and the effect they've had on your life?
I certainly can. So, In a nutshell, Angelic Harmony Therapy is a celestial sound healing modality. So the practitioner connects with the angelic realms and channels their vibration through their voice. So I'm a singer anyway, so for me it's been a very natural progression how it's happened. But when I train people to become practitioners, quite a lot of them come to me and they're not singers, but they just love angels, and some really interesting things have been happening. It's like the angels have been putting like little voice boxes inside them, and they've been creating these heavenly sounds. It's just quite amazing.
It is amazing, and you have an angelic voice, because I've heard you singing on some of the things that you've sent me. It is, the music you play is wonderful, and I was listening to, in particular, a meditation that you sent me, which it took me somewhere completely else, and that was amazing, because for those moments, that meditation and that energy and those vibrations were huge. Tell me a little bit about the therapy side of it. How does that, how can that help people, and you know, what type of people come to you for that type of therapy?
Okay, so basically with the sound therapy, it's different to say something like Reiki, because the sounds and the vibrations from the angels get recorded into the cells of the body, and they sort of like go into the aura, and they stay in the aura, and they slowly penetrate their way through into the cells of the body for when the person's ready. It's very different to sort of a normal type of hands-on healing. It's working in a whole different way, and it really can help anyone that's got an open heart. So if you want to heal yourself, because we're not the healers, we're just channels, but if somebody genuinely wants to help themselves, then they come with an open heart, an open mind, and it can help many different things. I mean, as you know, we can't make claims that it can cure this and can cure that, but it certainly can release blocks, create a sense of well-being, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, karmic, if you believe in karmic. So our thoughts obviously have a big power over us. So if we come with a particular thought or idea, then the angels will work with us in that way. They work with us. We are the starting point, if that makes sense.
It does. And talking about starting points, when was your first angelic experience, and when did angels start talking to you?
Okay, so as a child, I did see lights, and I did have little helpers, but that closed down when I was about 5 and went to school. Things started reawakening for me when I was pregnant with my first son. I felt a hand on my shoulder when I was really heavily pregnant and really uncomfortable in bed and tossing and turning. And I actually turned around and said to my ex-husband, get your hand off my shoulder, it's not helping me. And he said, it's not me. And then I relaxed into it, and then I realized that it was someone from heaven. So that was my very first experience as an adult. And then Reiki opened up the floodgates to the angels for me, basically. When I did my Reiki 2, I got up out the chair after having my attunement, and there was a feather on the chair that wasn't there beforehand. And the Reiki master said, Georgie, this means that you're going to be working with angels. And I was like, wow, this is really exciting, because I love angels. I've always, the thought of angels have always intrigued me. So I basically started to just put it out there. Angels, if you want to work with me, I'm here. I'm an open channel. I want to work with you. So then through doing Reiki, hands-on healing, I would start to see like little lights around people. And I work clairaudiently, so I hear and I sense as well. So I would just get like voices and a feeling that a particular angel was with me. So all the way I've developed is through my own connection. I haven't done any angelic courses with anybody. It's I've literally sat down and connected with the angels themselves. But how I got into Angelic Harmony Therapy, how it began, how it was birthed, well, there's sort of two stories. It first opened up to me 8 years ago. I was coming out the other end of a bad time in my life, and I joined a circle in North London, and in this circle I went into an altered state of trance. And during this time, an angel came through and spoke to the group and said her name was Love, and she said that she'd come to me to heal me through singing. And she said it was important that I started singing again, and that she said eventually I would go on to help other people through singing as a form of healing. So during this time, I would every now and then be guided to sing a particular song, a song that I wrote, in fact, 10 years ago, Marry Me. And it would pop up during healing, especially if somebody needed a healing of the inner child. But that was the extent of singing and healing. But then 5 years ago, I find myself in Ibiza, as you do, and I was invited to a healing day. It was a charity day raising money for children with special needs. And there I am with a lady lying down ready to receive healing, hands-on angelic healing. And I couldn't feel the healing flow. Like, if there's any other healers out there, when you get that flow, you have the tingle at the top of your head. It just wasn't there. So I said, where are you? This lady's here for healing. Come on, help me. And I heard really clearly, sing into her chakras. And I sort of stood there for a bit, and then it was, sing into her chakras, we will guide you. So I just I sort of floated my way through the treatment. I was on a cloud. And then at the end, the lady said to me, wow, that was like amazing. It was like I was up in heaven with the angels. That was just so powerful. So I told her, well, that's the first time I've ever done that. The angels guided me to do that with you. And basically it's been growing and I've been developing it with them. So over time, it's developed and grown. And then I guess the turning point was 3 years ago. I went to Canada, and a lovely girl, Maggie, who's now called Magali, she came up to me at the end of my little workshop and said, oh my God, I can't believe it. The angels, they've sent you to me. I asked the angels, please teach me how to sing with you and give healing. And there you are, you're doing it with the group. Can you teach me? And I was like, I don't know if I can teach you how to do it. But well, please, please, please. So anyway, we did over Skype. We connected, and Maggie turned out to be a real rock for me. She helped me set up a website, helped me with the graphics and the Facebook and all these things that I'm not very good at. And we put a manual in to send off to insurance company, got it insurable. And then 2 years ago, I trained the first set of practitioners in the UK, in Glastonbury.
Wow, what a story. And I know some people are saying wow as well. So Anne-Marie's saying wow. That is amazing. And I think, from a Welshman who's meant to be a good singer, and I can't sing, I said earlier on that I can only sing 2 songs, and they're both Neil Diamond numbers, and I can only generally sing them after I've had 1 or 2 gins. It is an amazing story, because I think, it's about working on a vibration, isn't it? And working on that love vibration, and working with angels on that vibration as well. And of course, singing is a vibration, isn't it? And no better place in the world to start than Ibiza, when you're singing your first angelic therapy song. But tell me a little bit. Did you sing before then? Were you a singer, or did these things sort of develop with you?
I do have a singing background. So I was in a choir up until the age of about 16. And then at 17, I went to Talia Conti. which is a theatre school in London. And then I worked professionally as a dancer. And then around the age of 30, I decided that I wanted to develop jazz as a sound. So previously, the voice I'd been working with was sort of soprano classical. I was never really in vogue as a singer. When I was at Angelic Harmony, I desperately wanted to be in one of the rock operas, but I just didn't have that voice. I've always had like this pure sounding sort of voice, soprano. Really, I should have gone to an opera school instead of Angelic Harmony, but there you go. And so then I studied jazz, and I think what studying jazz has done for me is it just loosens everything up, because with jazz you improvise. So it's enabled the angels in a way to work with me where I'm totally I'm channeling, but it's all sort of like improvised. I mean, all of the albums I've done with Marcus, I must give Marcus C Dolan a shout out, because he is the producer and he is the music behind, if you can see him there. He's the music and the producer behind Seraphisa. I'm the singer, I'm the voice. He's the clever one that does all the technical stuff. So, that's what jazz gave me. So yes, I do have a singing background.
I love jazz, by the way. We do a gin and jazz night in one of my restaurants, which is always pretty popular. Funny enough, we've had a lot of sopranos who come and sing as well. So there's another date, but we won't talk about that on air. We can talk about that off air. You're booked. No, but I love the fact that you talk about Reiki, and you talk about when you sort of started to practice Reiki and you did your attunements, that other things started happening to you. And it's a vein that I keep talking about, because again, I just before we came on air, I met somebody a little bit earlier on who was talking about, getting out of oneself to create the space for spirit. And I think, a lot of those things that you talk about there in terms of angels coming, et cetera, and the feather, I think are key, and that attunement and healing. Because I said to you before, didn't I? I know I'm aware of angels. I don't particularly work with angels in a sense that I know they're working with me. Obviously they are. But ultimately, it's I'm conscious of angels being there. But you said that they like to come in on a healing vibration, don't they? That's probably where they work their most, and I think that's important. Just for somebody who hasn't worked much with angels, can you tell us a little bit about, because there's so many, isn't there? And they're so varied, and they all have sort of, if you like, different sets of expertise. How would you sort of describe the angels and what they do and how they do it, etc.?
Okay, so, well, of course, Michael or Raphael, Aiel means of God. So they are messengers or representatives of God, if you like. And I use the word God in a non-religious way. So it's that higher being of love, which for me is masculine and feminine. So angels come as like an in-between, because I don't know about you, but if I had God here right now, I think I'd be a bit overwhelmed. But having the angels coming, that's like, yeah, I can handle that, So we have archangels, and there are so many. But the ones that I work with in Angelic Harmony Therapy, I start with Archangel Sandalphon and Archangel Metatron. They sort of like top and tail the healing, if you like. So Sandalphon's at our feet, at our Earth Star, and Metatron's high up. He's like the bridge between him, us, and the divine. And then in between that, I work with Gabrielle, who works with a really pure white light that purifies us, especially our thoughts and our feelings about ourselves, what we wrongly hold true of ourselves, because we're all born innocent and pure, but over time we get labeled, and over time, you know, our aura takes on other people's thoughts about us and what other people have said about us. So really, what the angels do is they're coming along and they're helping us to get rid of all that stuff that we just don't need. We need to go back to this pure child that we were born. We were born pure. We were born laughing. We were born knowing that, you know, anything was possible. And I personally feel that that's what the angels want to do with us. They want to help us to go back to finding our sort of angelic self, if you like, the part of us that sees through the eyes of love, speaks through the eyes of love, and knows that we are of God as well. We are Archangel Raphael. You know, we all have that potential within us. We can all be healthy. We can all be happy, but it's like just getting rid of all the stuff that we've taken on.
Amen. that sounds absolutely wonderful, and I love the way in which you talk about it with such connection and such passion. You know, there is this whole, every time you speak about it, there's this whole authentic, intimate conversation taking place, and I just feel that connection with you and with Angel as well. So I thank you for that. Where do you see some of the, obviously, you know, a lot of people come to you for the therapy, etc. Where do you see some of the, because I'm talking a lot at the moment about connection and people not being connected with themselves and not being connected with the moment. And I know I keep banging the drum about mindfulness, but every time I turn around and I do anything with people, I just feel that there's this lack of connection with themselves and with the moment. We're all somewhere else all of the time and trying to, you know, run around in this hamster wheel, if you like. Where do you see some of the bigger issues in terms of connection and people and the people who come through your door for therapy? Where do you see some of those issues?
Okay, so I see one of the biggest issues is fear. Fear of what they will find when they connect with themselves. And I can say that with my hand on my heart because I was in that place myself. I was in that place. I was like, what if I find something that's not very nice? What if actually underneath all this fluff, you know, I'm actually not a nice person? So quite often it's fear of unknown, fear of fear of success, fear of failure, fear of what other people are saying and thinking, fear of the future. You're thinking about the past and how that's affected. So you're right, a lot of the time it's because people just aren't in the present moment, and going into the present moment and going into yourself, it is hard and it does take time. And for me, I do go into schools and teach meditation and a form of mindfulness. But for me, how it works best for me is through toning and through sound and through singing. I actually find it quite hard just sitting and breathing. I like to breathe and connect, like a real deep breath, like a and then I sing maybe an angel's name, and then I go into a toning, and that sort of like puts me into where I need to be in my body. But there's so many different ways of people finding, you know, their connection to their body and their heart and getting out of this monkey mind. Did I answer your question?
You did answer my question, and you sort of semi-answered my next question as well, which was fear is one of the big things that come across. And again, I think if we are, I love the part where you said about being childlike. I think that's so important in terms of creating communities or creating projects is to be childlike in your thoughts, because there is no fear of getting it wrong. There is no fear of making mistakes. There's no fear of anything. There's no fear of ego. That for me is being childlike in your thoughts, which can help you to be really innovative, which is huge. And how, and I know you spoke about briefly, but is there a specific structure or specific technique you use to try and overcome that fear?
I would say definitely singing for me.
Yeah,
that is the key. Getting out in nature as well. Well, for me, nature is walking around the sea line, the estuary. I'm not really a wooded forest person. I like being by the sea. It's very hard sometimes if you've got a monkey mind to do this mindfulness, breathing, empty your mind type thing. So sometimes distraction works really well. And distracting myself by saying a prayer, and then, but not just saying it from on rote, or rope rather, but really saying it from my heart, and then actually letting that prayer sink into me. And then from there, the calling on who I feel I need at the time. So if I feel that I need strength, for instance, I might go to Archangel Michael. If I feel I need healing, I might go to Archangel Raphael. If I really feel like I need to be encompassed in a celestial womb, I sing Shekinah. So Shekinah is Hebrew for where God dwells, and it's also the feminine aspect of God, if you like. So I'd say that there's no sort of like set structure that I have, but it's like I put it out there with a prayer and breathe, and then sort of see where it takes me. But normally it is some sort of song, or I'm guided to pick up a book. But that's what works for me, distraction.
Well, it seems to work for Teresa as well, because she says, funny enough, I've just started singing. Yes, the sea is great. This is so good. So she agrees with everything you're saying. And that's lovely. And Anna says hi as well. Singing is the meditation and the food of the soul, isn't it? That's what a lot of people say, and again, I'm not gonna kill everyone's eardrums. I'll empty the room if I start singing. But it is that feel good factor, isn't it? It's about putting that music on. And interestingly, we've created a community called lhcommunity.net, which is where people can go and join and be together, like-minded people. But part and parcel of that is a lot of the teachings I'm getting from Spirit at the moment is wrapped around songs, and in particular 1980 songs. I just finished writing my last bit of blog now, and it's called Stand and Deliver, and it's about mediumship and entering the energy. And you can imagine what song comes with that if you like Adam and the Ants.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to sing it, but Stand and Deliver. Money on your life. Oh yeah. And I think we're showing our age now, Georgie, and we're not meant to do that. But it is about singing, isn't it? And there's so many good things about singing, with it, lifting the vibration and the energy. And if you sing a happy song, try and sing U2's Beautiful Day and be miserable. It's impossible. You know what I mean? It is impossible. So it is hugely important. We're not too far away from the questions and answer session. So
okay.
if you are in the comment section, please pop some questions in a minute. Teresa says, I've heard you singing, and your singing is good. Yeah, but Teresa, what you forget to mention is you'd had 3 or 4 Bacardis at that stage. And that Teresa's actually over in Australia. We went to Art of Finley together. So yes, I did do some singing, unfortunately. I think it was Love on the Rocks. But then it ain't no great surprise. So tell me a little bit then about yourself personally. I know you talked about your life and where you are at the moment. So where do you see you taking this? I know you've been around the world and you've got some songs. Where do you see all this going? For Georgie Deyn.
Wow. Without sounding too cheesy, I am handing this over to the divine, Because if I start to say, I really want to be on Oprah, for instance, then I could be blocking something else that the divine really wants for me. So I haven't quite been over there. I went to New York, Sweden, Denmark. I've been invited to Ireland. Maybe I'll be invited to Wales. I do have a practitioner in New Zealand, but funnily enough, she was visiting the UK, so I trained her in the UK. But I would love to travel. So if that's what the divine wants for me, I will go along with that. I will go with whatever the divine wants to sort of like do with this. I mean, when it first came to me, I did think like, why haven't they given this to Doreen Virtue, for instance? Why has this come to me? But that says more about me and my insecurities, I suppose, and my lack of self-worth or whatever. But I feel that I've just got to let go and let God.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Again, this is a bit spooky because I was having this conversation. Honestly, I was having this conversation. I met somebody about 2 hours ago because I'm trying to, as people may know, I'm trying to do this wellness and spiritual college project here in South Wales. And I met somebody who we were talking a lot about. And I said, I don't know where I'm going and I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I just know I'm going to get there. And that's weird because I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. For me in my life, that's a bit weird because I've always been structured. I've always had a dream. I've always had a vision. I've always been guiding myself one way or the other. And I know where I wanted to get to. But now it's a bit like, I know what the end result looks like, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I don't know what that's going to do and who I'm going to do it with. But all I know is I'm going to get there. And that is building the college and the wellness center. And that's going to be massively important. So I'll get there one day. But it is about that word surrender, isn't it? It's about surrendering yourself without setting any specific goals or create. Because I think if you set yourself a goal, I know people say you should set yourself goals because you've got something to aim for and everything else. But I think sometimes then, as you rightly said, and this is exactly what was said in the conversation, if you turn around and say, I'm going to go on Oprah, then you might block something else. And you're right, because when we set something and we achieve it, where do we go from there? Yeah. So, some of these things are about just, building out what you want to do and how you want to do it and then working it back from there. So, it's weird because I sound as if I'm having the same conversation I had about an hour ago, which is amazing, which just tells me we're all on the same page. If you get your questions going forward now for Georgie, please do so in the comment section. And Anne-Marie says music is amazing for our chakras, and I know you were talking about singing to the lady chakras in Ibiza.
Yes, in fact it is. When I'm singing for somebody, if a particular chakra is blocked, what happens is I feel it in my throat, so it starts to quaver and wobble and it doesn't sound too good. So I know that chakra needs a little bit more work, and I'll stay with that chakra for longer. So yes, of course. And then our chakras, then it feeds the rest of us, doesn't it? So the chakras are sort of openings for this beautiful energy that we're delivering from the divine, whether it be hands-on or through sound. But yes, it is.
Yeah, it is amazing. And did you said you did some of this learning in Glastonbury? Is that right?
I did my first practitioners. I trained the first practitioners in Glastonbury, 2016, at the Goddess House. I decided to do it in Glastonbury because I just thought, well, it's supposed to be the heart chakra of Mother Earth, isn't it? Mm. And the throat chakra is in Egypt, and I thought that's too far to go.
Yeah, I prefer Glastonbury anyway. There was a guy who actually was doing he's amazing sound meditation. Have you seen Louis?
I think I've seen the posters of him.
Oh, he's just amazing.
I haven't actually been to any of his sessions. I should do.
Yeah. He's got these huge crystal tuning forks, and he just bangs these tuning forks, and he just waves them over the person's body, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. I do believe though, and this is one of the reasons why I think you resonated with me, is that I think everything is a vibration. Of course, sound and music is that vibration, and I run a development group on a Monday night, and we did chakras on Monday night, and it's I think if we can get those lined up and get them vibrated and all working together, I think it makes life so much easier, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because if one's out of kilter, it sets them all out of kilter, really. So yeah, we do definitely need to work on the chakras. Funny enough, I run a little development group on a Friday afternoon, but it's all female now, because I was I've had a connection recently with Mary Magdalene coming in very close, and she wanted this particular circle to become all female. So it's we have to listen to our guidance and follow it.
We have to listen. And I run a group on Monday, and there's only me and Tom and 15 other women. I do feel as if I'm getting ganged up on, but I'm sure I'm safe. I'm sure I'm safe. We're going to get some questions coming in. Maria Nation says, "Is there an angel that can help me, as I had to say goodbye to our beloved family pet this week?"
Oh, okay. So the angel that's stepping forward is Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing, because of course when we lose a pet, it is like losing a part of our family. It's a family member, and so you need to allow, and we're going to be working with Raphael later, but to open your heart and to let go. And Raphael will help with this. He'll help with the emotional healing around this.
It is, I lost my dog 15 years ago, and we vowed we'd never get a dog again, because of it is like, is losing a family member, and lo and behold, 3 years ago we went and got little Reggie, and he's just, oh my God, I couldn't imagine anything happening to him now, because he's such a major part of our lives, and it is so difficult. So Maria, we are thinking of you. I know Layla, who's in the room as well, lost her pet recently, and she's suffering with it as well. So our thoughts and love go out to those. Dean Jenkins says, "Do you have a strong vibration through your body when you're in trance or healing?"
I would say that depends on what level of trance I'm in. If I'm quite deep with the trance, so if I'm sitting down and channeling in that way, then I'm so sort of like unaware of what's going on. But if I'm standing up and working with somebody, then yes, I sort of feel like my body is tingling and vibrating. It's pretty awesome.
It is awesome.
I don't need to drink.
I don't drink anymore.
I get high on the vibes of the angels.
Yeah, no, and it is amazing. And one of the things I always do is when I do that, I get this overwhelming rush of emotion through me when I connect with myself, and I just feel my soul self and my heart center, and just the energy, the divine, just go bang. Oh, what a feeling. It is incredible. Anne-Marie says, "Do you have a certain tone on every chakra?" They all vibrate at different levels, so I presume they all got different. Have they got different notes or keys? Or
they certainly do. So how I was taught the framework by the angels was that tones and vowels to work with specific chakras. So for instance, I'll just do a few. So the base chakra is the note of C, and the vowel sound is oo, and then going up to the sacral is D, and the vowel sound is O, and the solar plexus is E, and the vowel sound is O. That's how I teach it, and that's how I was doing it, but it's been developing to the point now where they improvise and they freestyle, and this is sort of like a slightly different thing that's happening now. And I also teach this to the practitioners that train with me, because it's like you can bring through someone's soul tone or soul song, and it connects them to missing bits of themselves, if that makes sense, or bits that they haven't quite aligned with. So in that case, it could be something completely random. Like if I'm working with the Elohim, for instance, the creative force under the divine, they bring through this really funny sound, which is like, which is totally different to the angels and the chakras. And then if I connect with the Palladian system, they sort of and the dolphins, they bring through like a wow 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 sound. So the more I open up and get out of the way and have no sort of set expectations, the more stuff comes.
I'm glad you say that, because and I was actually, there's a question come in and said, can you sing them? I wasn't going to say anything, but you started singing, so I will ask you to sing them in a minute. But what you're saying is I love it, because all I keep talking about at the moment is connection with self, but connection with spirit is getting out of the way of yourself with no expectation. And that's when, you know, if we can go into that space where we're not thinking, I have to connect with spirit, I have to connect with angels, I have to set no expectation. Yeah. Just find that space. And when you've got that space, then just ask spirit to come close. Yeah. Off you go. I don't think it's any. Just one quick one. I know I don't want to put you on the spot, but I feel it. I've known you now for minutes, so I'm going to do it. Teresa Bird said, "Please, can you sing them all?" I'm not going to ask you to sing them all, but if there's one, so if you were trying to really connect with the heart chakra, if you like,
yes,
what note would that be?
Okay, that's the note of F. And I can, if you want, play the backing and sing along to the backing and sing in Archangel Shamuel, if you want me to.
That, well, that to me, that is bliss. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I will be 2 seconds. Get it, because I didn't know we were going to do this.
No, nor did I. This is what it's all about. We've surrendered.
So this is the backing for the heart chakra. Put this on. You have to let me know if the music's too loud, and I'll turn it down. So we start with the breath. Shamuel. And I don't know if you noticed there that I was humming. The power of the hum. The power of the hum. Any Barbara Streisand fans out there, She always starts a song with a hum. Ooh, ah. Always, because it places the sound in the resonators where it needs to go. And anybody out there that wants to is interested in learning more or trying this out, you can hum. You don't actually have to sing. Humming is just as powerful. It really is.
Yeah, but you hum as beautiful as you sing. I don't know whether my humming will be as good as that, but that was. I'm just going to flip some. I'm going to flip some bits and pieces up on the screen of people who were in the room that are saying some truly amazing things. I'm just going to pop them all up because as all this was going, Teresa, unashamedly, Georgie, plug your. Right. So it says, great. Do you have a CD we can?
Okay, so the Angelic Harmony stuff is they're all downloads. They're on my angelichaharmonytherapy.com website, and they come in toning. So that was me toning, but there's also a set where there's affirmations that go over the top of the humming, the singing, and the calling in the angels' names. And then, of course, I've got the 3 albums with myself and Marcus. We've got the Heavens, and I'm going to play a couple of tracks from here when we do the meditation. One is called Awaken, and one is called Ascend. And then I'm going to also play Open Your Heart. That's from Pure Presence. That's our 3rd album. Now, Open Your Heart is Archangel Raphael. He's coming with healing, but he's telling us, we've got to open our hearts to receive. A lot of us who are healers and therapists, we open our heart to give, but we forget to receive. So it's really important to receive. Then, of course, the first album was the mystical, and that's a bit I say it's a bit Buddha lounge. So it's sort of like Ibiza inspired.
Why not? It's quite funny because, is it true what they say? There's the second album's always the difficult one. The difficult second album, was that the case after the first one?
Well, funnily enough, the second album. So you had Kerry on your show a couple of weeks ago, didn't you, Kerry Stanford?
Yeah, Kerry. Yeah.
I had a reading with her, and she said it's the second album that's going to get out there, and that's going to be the one that really not rockets you, but it's going to get you noticed. Now, This second album, The Heavens, there's layers and layers of channeled stuff in this. So the first song is called The Heavens. And then we've got some mantras on here, but we've got Ascend, Awaken, Celestial Sleep, New Hope, Medicine Woman. All of those ones, they're tracks where there's multi-layers of the voice. And Medicine Woman, I'm literally channeling White Buffalo Medicine Woman. And when I heard what Marcus had recorded me doing, I'm like, where did that come from? Because I'm a soprano, as you know, but it was like, and it was this really deep voice, which wasn't mine. Sounds
like mine.
It does, yeah, it does. I must have been channeling you.
Yeah, I'm not quite a tenor. I'm a 5. No, it is amazing, and just right on time and right on cue. We've got to that point of the show where we're going to have this amazing angelic meditation, which now I know you've created a demand, a thirst, an insatiable thirst for the next meditation, purely because of the wonderful voice that we just heard. And thank you for that. And sometimes, when I'm interviewing people or doing stuff, you never know when to push the boundary. But there was a question that came in about singing, and you just sang, and I went, yeah, I think she's up for it. So we'll ask the question.
Yeah, absolutely. How could I call myself a singer and not sing live?
Well, no, I know. I know some mediums that don't want to do mediumship, so I'm not.
Really?
So there we go. So look, what I'm going to do now then is I'm going to hand over to yourself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is, we normally do a meditation of about 10-15 minutes. So I'm actually going to I'm actually going to take part in this. Okay, so I'm going to
lovely.
meditate with you as well. So,
Your time
so I'm
to
going to hand
receive.
over I'm going to hand over the very capable reins to Georgie Deyn, who's going to do our meditation this evening, which is going to be angelic.
So I'm going to invite you now to close your eyes and take your attention to your breath. Breathe into your heart center, breathing in and out in your own rhythm. From your heart, you're going to send your love, your light down your body, down to your feet, and sending your roots down to the earth, to the core of Mother Earth. And here, Mother Earth gifts you her healing mist. And you're going to breathe in and up the healing mist of Mother Earth. As the earth gives you her healing mist, it travels up to your feet, to your legs, to the base of your spine, up your spine, into your heart center, connecting you to Mother Earth, awakening the angel within you. You're going to breathe in and out. And as you breathe out, you're going to take your love, your light up, out through your crown chakra, up, out through the top of your head, higher and higher, out into the celestial realms. And here, two become one as you connect your light to the light of the divine. Remembering you are a divine child of the light. Breathing in now this combined light as it spirals down to your crown and travels down inside you to meet your heart center, connecting heaven and earth. Now I'm going to invite you to step into a green field. And in this field is an old oak tree, your starting and ending point. With your back to the tree, you sense the strength and stability of this tree, its wisdom. And in front of you appears a golden bridge. You're going to step onto this golden bridge. And as you do, you may notice a tingling sensation along your spine as your wings begin to open and you remember your angelic self. Your true nature is love. As you expand your wings and they grow, notice the color, notice the texture of your wings. As you begin to glide across the golden bridge, you notice your halo shining brightly, signaling to the angels that you are ready to work with them. As you step off the golden bridge, you find yourself in a healing garden. And in this healing garden are the most beautiful trees and plants and flowers, butterflies and birds. The colors are out of this world. You may even notice the fragrance in the garden. And in the middle of the garden is a healing pool of light. I invite you to step into this healing pool, for here is where you're going to release any blocks or resistance that are stopping you from fully opening your heart and receiving the love of the angels. As you step into the pool, relax, release, receive and replenish. Ooh, yeah. And as much as you love being in the healing pool, and some of you may wish to stay in the healing pool, and that's absolutely fine. But otherwise, I invite you to step out of the pool. And now it's time to ascend a golden staircase of light. And as you travel up the golden staircase of light, your whole body shimmers and vibrates with the golden light. Your wings shimmer, your halo shines, and you glide up the golden spiral staircase of light. Breathing in the golden light. And as you reach the top of the staircase, you realize that you are in a celestial temple, a healing temple. Some of you may notice that it's the shape of a pyramid, the square base, shimmering in golden light. And as you make your way over to the center of the pyramid, you look up, and above you is a portalway. This is where Archangel Raphael is going to enter. You may notice him as a golden or green star or orb of light as he begins to travel down in front of you from the top of the pyramid. He stands in front of you. Now he may or may not take shape or form. He may stay as an orb or star. It doesn't matter. However you perceive Archangel Raphael is what you need for your highest good. become with him. Now, I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael is available for you anytime. And now you've had this connection with Archangel Raphael, you merely need to think of him. And Archangel Raphael picks you up in his wings and slowly carries you back down the golden staircase of light, taking you back down, slowly and slowly, down to your healing garden. And as the golden bridge appears, Raphael carries you back over the golden bridge, slowly bringing you back down to the green field of the old oak tree. And Raphael gently places you down on the grass with your back to the old oak tree, feeling your connection once more to Mother Earth, feeling your connection to the strong, safe tree. And when you're ready, you can begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Maybe have a sip of water if you've got some water there.
I'll join you. Cheers. Wow. Thank you. That was amazing. It'd be great to get some comments in the comment section of how people found the meditation, where they went, and what was special. I feel really sort of nice.
Good.
No, I feel really chilled. It's like as if, I was there and I went, and it was It was phenomenal. It really was, and thank you for that. That was amazing. And Teresa Bird just took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you. That was amazing. It's just what I needed, and so did I. David from Ireland, you're spreading, you're crossing the Irish Sea. Wow, that was amazing. It was amazing, and thank you, because that really was extra special, and thank you very, very much for that. And I know that a lot of people will watch that in the replay as well, and there's a resource there for us all to go back to, and that was, that was special, because again, the words I want to use all the time when I listen to you is authentic and intimate. It really is, a real strong connection that is just wonderful.
Thank you. That means a lot to me, because that's what I strive to be, just authentic, and what you see is what you get. When I'm talking, the East London accent comes out. When I'm channeling, it sounds a bit posher.
Well, that happens to all of us. Amazing. Thank you, said Marie Spooner. Anne-Marie says that was amazing. Thank you.
Aww.
Chris Palmer says beautiful. I don't think there's a word that can either better describe you than that word there, which was beautiful. And Anna Rayner says amazing. Thank you very much. So there's lots of people there who thoroughly enjoyed that. And what is always interesting for me is that once we use technology, and does it work to do meditations in this type of format? And I think the answer that always comes back is a resounding yes, because that was truly beautiful, and it was amazing. And before we know it, we've come towards the end of the show, and I told you it would go quick, and it's gone even quicker than I thought it would. It's been a true blessing, and I can't thank you enough. And just before we go, and as so many people will be saying thank you to you, if you could once again please just post your website, or how people can download some of the tracks, because they are truly amazing.
Okay, yep. So it's Angelic Harmony Therapy, which is the website for the sound healing. If you can see that, AngelicHarmonyTherapy.com. That's the sound healing, and then all the music. So if you liked the angel track, for instance, and want to get yourself back connected to Archangel Raphael, that was on that album, Pure Presence, and that's seraphisamusic.com. And then the other tracks that I used to ascend and to awaken, 2 tracks from The Heavens, the album that Kerry reckons is going to be flying off the shelves.
Well, you've got the right name for it anyway. Let's put it that way, because it was massively heavenly, and I appreciate that. And there's more and more people saying thank you. It was truly amazing. Great show. Thank you so much, both. I'm going to use that meditation again from David in Ireland. So again, yeah, it was amazing. And I'd like to say thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for just being such a beautiful, white, pure, amazing light that I'm sure we've all had some healing from this evening. Good luck with everything that you do, because I truly believe you deserve it, and I'm sure that you'll be no stranger to this show and to myself as we go forward together. Because again, I can't thank you enough. Thank you very, very much for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Georgie, you're an absolute star, and I'm pretty sure we're going to have lots and lots of people talking about this evening and this show and everything else. So God bless you, my love, and we'll speak soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. That's the spirit. It never ceases to amaze me. We're on episode 8, and every show is just like, wow, isn't it? And we are so blessed to have such a wonderful network of beautiful people, beautiful light, beautiful energy, and of course, a beautiful audience, because without you, it wouldn't be possible. And so many people have come in this evening. We've had over 73 different comments. We've had people from all over the world, whether that be Australia, America, Wales, England, Ireland, and I don't know whether we've had somebody from Scotland, but I'm sure they will watch this in the replays. it has been a truly amazing show. Thank you very much for being with us again this week. Look forward to next week, which will be episode 9 of That's the Spirit. And as always, we will launch That's the Spirit podcast with Bev Mann tomorrow, which is the interview from last week. And then I'll try and get it out quicker because I'm sure you'll all want to listen to this in your beautiful stereophonic headphones of the interview that we've done this evening with Georgie Deyn. So once again, I can't thank you enough. It's been a pleasure. And as always, as I always say at the end of the show, my little strapline is, if you can be love and give love, that would be amazing. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Good night, and until next week. God bless.